Hello, sixth graders. We are in our shapes and measurement unit. Our lesson today is on area of parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. Our learning target is I can find the area of given figures. Okay, again, as a review, area, this is the space inside a two-dimensional shape. Okay, so if we had a square, it's all of the space inside here. So parallelogram, okay, these have two sets of parallel sides. Okay. The base is one side of the parallelogram. So I'm going to use this picture over here. The base here is this bottom part, and the height is from the other parallel side to that point. And notice that it makes a 90-degree angle, so it's got to be perpendicular. So that's the height. And then the units is whatever we're in, whether that's centimeters, inches, feet, that's our units. So the area of a parallelogram is we take the base times the height. So this formula here should be written down in your notes, and then have this picture drawn where we are labeling the base and heights of a parallelogram. Now, throughout this entire unit, anytime that we are finding whatever it might be, area, volume, perimeter, we always want to start with writing down the original equation. So area equals base times height. Then from there, we fill in the numbers that we have and solve for the missing part. So we're finding the area of this parallelogram. The base is this bottom side, which is 13, so area equals 13 times, and the height is the part that makes that 90-degree angle right there, so 5.8. Now again, you can use a calculator for this unit, so we go 13 times 5.8, and the area equals 75.4, since we're talking about centimeters, but our label for area is always centimeters squared, because this was 13 centimeters times centimeters, and whenever we have something multiplied by itself, it is squared. Okay. Study tip here, when finding the area of a parallelogram, be sure to use the base and the height, not one of the other sides, which we'll look at on this problem. So start with writing down the formula. Try these on your own if you're feeling comfortable. Base times height. Now we can plug in. Well, the base would be this bottom side, which if I look up here is 11 inches. And then the height is the 90-degree angle, not the other side of the parallelogram, so 9. So the area equals 11 times 9 is 99 inches squared. Next one, again, area equals, always start with writing down the formula, base times height. Fill in the numbers. Well, the base would be 10.2, this side here, times by the height of 7. Multiply those two numbers together, and the area equals 71.4. We have feet squared. Okay, again, area equals base times height. The base would be 4. The height is 5 1/4. Multiply those together, and I could type in 1/4 as a decimal, which I know is 0.25. So the area, equals 21 yards squared. Okay, so now we are on to a triangle. In order to find the area of a triangle, we use this formula that you should have written down. 1/2 times the base times height, and then draw this picture as well. The base of a parallel can be any of its sides, so any of the 3 sides, but the height needs to be perpendicular to the one that you chose. So it'll make that 90-degree angle there. Okay, so let's find the area. Again, start with the formula. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. You could also take the base times height, divide by 2, or as a decimal, 0.5 times base times height. A couple different formulas for you to use, but now we'll plug in our information. 1/2 times the base would be 10, and the height is 6.5. Type all of that into your calculator to solve. And the area equals 32.5 meters, and again squared because we're talking about area. Okay, couple more here to try. Area equals 1/2 times base times height, and then fill in your information from there. Base would be this side here, which is 14. Height makes a 90-degree angle, so 11. Okay, 1/2 times 14 times 11. Area equals 77 feet squared. All right, again, area equals 1/2 times base times height. Plug in your numbers from there. So the base would be one of these sides. I'm going to pick this side here, 7.5. I'm going to write it as a decimal. Now, the height, they're showing it outside of here, which is fine, but it's got to make that 90-degree angle. So we are going to use that 8 for our height. So now when we times all of that together, the area equals 30 inches squared. Okay, the area of a trapezoid. So trapezoid has one set of parallel sides, and then the other sides are not. But our formula here, 1/2 times the height, and then in parentheses you're going to add the bases together. And then make sure you have this picture drawn as well. The bases are the sides that are parallel to each other, base 1 and base 2. Okay, so let's start with this trapezoid here on the right. So again, write down the formula first. 1/2 times the height, base 1 plus base 2. Now you can just plug in the information that we have. So 1/2. So the height is how far those two bases are from one another. So in this case, our two parallel sides are the 5 and the 12, and the distance between those is 7. So we're going to multiply by 7, and then we're going to add the bases together, which would be 5 plus 12. The bases are the two parallel sides. Okay, we can plug all of that into our calculator just like how we see it, making sure to use parentheses around the 5 plus 12. And the area equals 59.5 inches squared. Okay. Moving on to picture C here. Area equals 1/2 times height times base 1 plus base 2. Okay, the bases are the two sides that are parallel to each other. In this case, this side and this side are parallel. And the height is how far those numbers are from each other. So they are 4 meters apart, so that's our height. And then our bases, 2.5 plus 4.8. Now we can solve what that equals. And area equals 14.6 meters squared. Okay, last one, picture D here. Area equals 1/2 times height times base 1 plus base 2. Again, write it down every time. I always want to see what formula it is that you're using, and then I want to see how you're plugging the numbers in. Okay. So the height, it looks like our parallel sides are here. So the height is how far those are from each other, which is 3/10. Then the bases, 1 plus 1/2. Solve that. 1 plus 0.5. And our area is very, very small on this one, a very small trapezoid. Feet squared. Okay, area of a trapezoid. Okay, so that is our lesson on area of triangles, trapezoids, and parallelograms. If you're still stuck, go back and rewatch it. Find some practice on iExcel and come with questions tomorrow.